started. You and Dalton have not stopped going at each other this week. Can you just talk about, one, obviously being in a final, but two, a final against a guy who's really playing the game with you and just not afraid to go back at you?
It feels good being in the final, but I knew that I was going to get here. You know, since I went to this final, I've told everyone that I'm going to win it. You know, and I'm 2 days away from going out there and doing what I said I was going to do. You know, and Dalton, I don't think much of the kid. You know, like I really do think he's a bitch because, like I said, if I was to catch him outside, just me and him, and no cameras around, and all of that, and we really get into it, I know he wouldn't want to. I know he wouldn't want to get into it. You know, so he's just putting an act on. So it is what it is, eh?
You've obviously been in the game for a minute, but I have to imagine in particular this has to feel like a really good year. Back-to-back wins over former tournament champions. I mean, can you just talk about how you're feeling just momentum-wise going into this one?
I feel like I've been the best I've been in my career. You know, I feel like it's set up to be a perfect year for me. Like Costello just won the title. I'm about to win this tournament, and it's gonna be a great year. You know, like to go out there and do what I say I'm gonna do, and get that goal over my shoulder. It's gonna be an amazing year for me. You know.
And then when you talk about your career, just do you feel like there's something to be said for the maturity that you're at right now to be in a tournament? Because you didn't get to do one of the Grand Prix or anything in Bellator. Do you feel like the experience you have now has really helped you stay just locked in and focused as you've been in this one now for the PFL?
Yeah, I do. And just the experience I've had being in Bellator for so many years and fighting around the UK and across Europe and even in the US with them, the experience I've gained from that has really served me well for this tournament, and I feel like I'm going out there and showing that to everyone.
I know you've said that you're not going to look too far ahead to Costello or whoever after this, so I'll just leave it with this one.
Yeah.
What do you think ultimately of Dalton's game and what he brings to the table in the cage as an opponent?
He's a juiced wrestler, and that's it. You know, he's a juiced wrestler. He can come in there, try for a bit of hands, but we know what his game's going to be. He's told me what his game's going to be. He's coming there to sniff my crotch for 5 rounds and make it a boring fight, and I won't have that.
Fabian, do you think he's on steroids?
Of course he's on steroids. He's either on it or been on it. You know what I mean? Like one of the two. He's either get him to do a lie detector test and say, have you ever been on steroids in your life? And 100%, I'll bet my whole purse that he doesn't fucking pass it. And that's it.
And obviously you guys have had like a lot of words between you two. On a scale, I guess, from like the most respectful and the least respectful points like you've had, where would you put Dalton Rosta in that scale?
Probably like the middle, you know, because I've had like more tension when it was me versus Shipman. You know, that was a good rivalry in the UK, 2 UK fighters, and that was a bit more tension. You know, Dalton, I know he's acting. You know, I know he's putting an act on. He's wearing suits in Miami, like it's hot as fuck. like no one's wearing a suit in here. You know what I mean? So he's trying to do all these things and put an act on, and yeah, he's not fooling anyone.
Yeah. Well, when you say acting, you mean like a false confidence?
Yeah, false confidence. I feel like he's one of these guys that writes on his mirror in his bathroom and repeats it to himself in the morning so he believes it. You know, I'm a guy that wakes up in the morning and go for a fucking run at 5 and just graft. That's what I do to believe in myself, and that's the difference.
Yeah. I almost feel like you almost enjoy having a non-respectful opponent. Right? Like it feels like you're enjoying this. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously when I first came around, I was a little shit, you know what I mean? I was like, but I kind of calmed down. But my opponent's been respectful. Josh was respectful. Impa was. And now I got a guy that's talking shit, and I just find it funny. You know, I do find it funny.
Yeah. I interviewed Costello a few weeks ago after his win over Johnny Evelyn, and he says that he doesn't really want an immediate rematch. Evelyn wants the winner of this fight. He thinks that's the biggest fight, the most exciting fight as well. What do you think should happen? Should PFL match up Costello versus the winner of the tournament, or do you think Evelyn deserves an immediate rematch?
How many title defense did they have? A few, innit? Had a few. Three. It's a new company. So that was Bellator. This is PFL. You know, and they want entertainment. Like Johnny and even Dalton, the good fighters, but they're boring. They're gonna go in there and hold and we want to see entertaining fights, and me versus Costello, that's an entertaining fight.
Lastly, obviously, your brother Leon,
Mhm.
he's got so much experience in title fights and in big events. You're fighting here for $500,000 and a world title. I know you've been also in big fights as well, but
Mhm.
has he given you any advice ahead of this big fight for you?
I just treat it like another fight, and that's it. And every single fight, every single fight's a big fight. If I don't win that fight, I don't get to this moment. I just say treat it like another fight, and that's it. The moment itself is still just a fight, you know. Yeah.
Lastly, prediction. Any way you see this fight end?
I believe I finish him in the 4th round, and since this fight's been made, I've just said I'll finish this guy, and I'm sticking with it.
Fabian, you said in the quarters, sort of what you think you do with money, and obviously that seemed like a long time ago. Now you're actually here.
Mm-hmm.
You said you wanted to build a gym,
Mhm.
and your brother had those plans. Now you are this close. Have you thought any more about that?
It's still the plan. It's still the plan. You know, gym, get a cafe, get some sweets. You know, and that's it. That's it. It's to give back to the community and just to build something off your own is important, because before you know it, I'll be retiring and my brother will be retiring. You know, the years will fly by pretty quick. So you still gotta build something for yourself. You know.
Yeah, and obviously MMA gave you and your brother so much.
Mhm.
Do you have it now? Even kids on the street will come up to you and say you and your brother have inspired them to change their life, or have inspired them to get into MMA and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I find it strange because when I was a kid, I couldn't envision myself being where I'm at today. That wasn't even a goal or a dream of mine to even fight. You know what I mean? I was just on the streets doing street shit, and that was it. So the fact that I've turned my life around, and MMA just gave me discipline and focus and all of that. I do want to show kids that came from my background you can do it, whether it's through MMA or through another way of life, you know?
Yeah, obviously winning the belt, winning the money, that would be great. But the
Mhm.
fact that you and your brother now become a role model for maybe other people
Mhm.
in Birmingham, is that almost bigger than the money in the belts?
Yeah, definitely. To be able to inspire someone and change someone's life, even if it's just one person, you know, that's a big thing. You know, and obviously the belts and all of that, they will go after a while. But if you can make an impact on someone's life, that's forever, innit? So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and on impact in life, you've obviously got a young family,
Mhm.
3 kids, I believe. Do they like understand the severity of what it is to you, that you're a fighter, that you're about to fight for world title, that you're about to fight for money, or do they just think your dad's going to work and he'll be away from it?
I didn't give a shit, man. They're like, Dad, just bring back some sweets. You know what I mean? You know, all they know is I'm coming here to fight in America. Like, Dad, can you bring back some American sweets? I'm like, all right, so I'm like, you know what I mean? So that's it. They don't understand, obviously, the amount of work that I put in because they're still young, you know, but as they grow, they will.
If you win and win money, are you expecting maybe a slightly bigger Christmas list from those 3 this year?
Probably. Yeah, probably, but yeah, probably, but like I said, they've got everything they wanted, you know, like MMA gave me so much, and I'm just, like I said, I'm happy that I'm in this position, you know.
Yeah, and finally, you've spoken in the past about how your mum never re-watches you and Leon fight, even watching it on TV is quite hard for her.
Yeah.
Is that still the case even now, how long you guys have been fighting?
Yeah, like, she's never been to a fight live, you know, and like I said, even watching on TV, she's like hiding behind the door, and you know what I mean, like, she's like in and out of the room, and it's her sons at the end of the day, so we're still her babies in her eyes, you know, and yeah, I understand it.
You mentioned there when you were talking to Jack about, you know, there was a point where you were in Fraser seasons like street, you know, street stuff. Was there a moment? I suppose obviously a lot happened in that early part of your life. Was there a definitive moment where you went like, I've got to change this. We have to fix it. We can't keep going down this road.
Now, if I'm honest, I had to go through it all. You know, I had to go through it all, and it wasn't so much that fighting made me change. It wasn't. It was just myself. I was like, I can't be doing this like forever. You know, and that's why I found fighting at the age of 22, because when my brother found it at the age of 16. You know, so yeah.
And was there like I guess like, was there a sort of a rock bottom, or was it just kind of something that gradually you knew you had to change?
No, I wasn't at a rock bottom. It was just, yeah. I would say that's part of the story I don't really tell, but I don't know. I was naughty. I was very naughty, and obviously I got whatever I got from it, and yeah, I just thought to myself, this life ain't for me anymore, and I made a change, and I'm happy I did. I'm
And
happy
then
I did.
obviously all those years go by, and it's pretty cool, almost directly to the day. This will be 3 years from when Leon won his world title. I guess what are your memories of that moment in Salt Lake, and what are you kind of expecting for it to be like, when it's your turn? I think it is exactly 3 years from the day when Leon won.
And that's crazy. that's crazy. Yeah, I remember Salt Lake. That's something that will never leave our mind. Just the 3 weeks alone, and the memories with my team and everyone, and the finish and everything. It was just, that's history. That could never be wiped away. And like I said, 3 years on, I'm here in the final, about to create something special as well. And there will be tears. I'm not a man that cry at all, but there probably will be tears on Judge. Yeah.
Fabian, you faced obviously former champion Imba Kasanganai before.
Mm-hmm.
You had Josh Silveira, PFL vet, title challenger before. Now you have Dalton Rosta. Do you feel like you've had the toughest path to the championship thus far?
I do. Dalton said he drew a former champion, which he did, but he drew a guy that was scared. I drew Impa. He came out there to take my head off my shoulders. So the difference in fights, it just speaks volume, and that's it. I do think I've had the tough path.
Now, with your previous title fights, you have a couple of them obviously didn't go your way,
Mm-hmm.
but what were you able to take away from those experiences to be able to wrap that belt around your waist Thursday night?
The experiences, I was close. I was close in those fights. The second one, it was about 3 rounds to 2. The first one, before I made a mistake, I caught him, and I was winning on the judges' scorecard, and that's just the game. The experience I've took from it, I'm like, I can't beat these guys. And for a long time, before Johnny was beat, everyone was saying he's the best middleweight in the world, and I was close to beating him, and I took confidence from that, and I've took great lessons, and Thursday night, Dalton will see that.
Now you faced obviously Josh and now Dalton coming up, training at similar camps.
Mm.
What's the difference in the type of wrestling that you saw with Josh Silveira versus what you're going to see versus Dalton?
Dalton's more explosive, but he can't maintain it. Josh is a grinder, so Josh will stay in there even though he's hurt, and he'll push through a bit more, and that's what I saw. And, yeah,
Thanks, man. Good luck.
appreciate it.
Fabian, you guys have both faced Aaron Jeffrey. Did you learn anything about Dalton in that performance?
Obviously, he fought him twice, and to me, he just showed he was scared to wrestle him. Like in the first fight, he tried it, gassed out, lost that. The second fight, he knew that he couldn't wrestle him, so he chose to go away from his A game, and like I said, he fucking lost the fight. But it is what it is. The judges or whoever gifted him the fight, and we're here now. But yeah, I know he gets tired. He can say whatever he wants to say. I know he's been tired in that fight and in previous fights, and I'm going out there to push the pace. Thank you. Yeah.
Good here, guys? Hi, my name is Chief Felon, reporting live from La Roche. You've been on a dominant streak this season. What adjustments have you made in your training to ensure you remain at the top of your game against Dalton?
If I'm honest, I ain't changed shit. I ain't changed nothing. I'm just believing in my team. I just believe in my team, and the same team that's got me to where I'm at now, I've just stuck to, and I've just continued working, and I think the reason why I'm on this run now is just the experience that I've got from my previous fights, and the confidence that I've got, and that's it. I just feel a new level of confidence, and I think that's what it is.
Now, the PFL has reduced the championship prize from $1 million to $500,000 this season. How do you perceive this change, and does it alter your motivation or approach to the tournament?
It doesn't change my approach at all. When I did see that, I was like, like I wasn't happy. But it is what it is. Obviously, they added more weight class, so you can't be giving everyone $1 million. So it is what it is. They knew why they changed it, and that's something for them to talk about.
Now, fighting at Seminole Hard Rock is a big stage.
Mm.
How does the energy of this venue influence your mind saw the biggest names fight there?
If I'm honest, not one bit, not one bit. It's I've been in main events across the US now and in the UK, and like I said earlier, a fight's a fight. You know, like if I allow the crowd and the energy to change how I fight, then I won't perform how I should. You know, so yeah, that's it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So you worked as a carpenter and janitor before turning pro. You had 9 amateur fights.
Nah, 10.
10? Which one?
Yeah, mate.
Which one was your favorite? Does one stick out?
Well, in amateur,
Yeah, before turning pro.
I ain't gonna lie, I had some naughty knockouts, some flying knee, some uppercuts. I've had a lot of knockouts in my amateur. I had 9 finishes and 1 decision in my amateur. So there was a lot of knockouts in the amateur, and I reckon my flying knee was my favorite one.
Yeah. And you talked about the kids. So, like, what would the best piece of advice you would give to a kid trying to get into MMA?
You've got to be consistent, you know, and you can't, when the kids in the gym now say you can't allow life to get to you. I know people say, what do you mean? And life's going to get, your friend going to want you to come out, you might meet a girl, you might start drinking. Like all of these things that life that's happening around you, you want to experience it, and you can't at times. You know, you got to put that on hold and stay focused and understand MMA is a long game. So you might not be successful your first fight or second fight. If you keep on it and keep working and keep in the gym, you get somewhere, and that's the game, yeah.